Puddins.fab shop where the party and fun just don't stop. Here recently on the channel, y'all seen me do some stuff on our wagon. Fixing a lot of the stuff I'm unhappy with. You've seen me work on the S-10. And you've seen me work on the Travel, all doing shakedown type, I don't like this, let's fix it type work. And you see the problem is when you fix the big items you're unhappy with, the next in line, the medium items, they become the next big items. They're what start bothering you the most. So in this video, we may work on all three of those suckers, guys. We're gonna dive into it, get into whatever we get into. We're gonna start with the wagon right here. Yesterday, me and my wife drove this thing all the way to the city and back. It's a phenomenal vehicle. The main issue I know of with it that is not addressed is if you let it just sit there and idle, it will eventually creep up and overheat. Originally, I planned to actually put an electric fan on it, but I really don't want to put an electric fan on it. I'd prefer just to keep a regular old shroud and fan. The engine temp may heat up, but the AC does a good job of blowing nice and cold the whole time. So I know it's moving enough air across the condenser, I guess just not across the radiator. But if you look at the shroud, it's not necessarily the best design ever. I like a factory influence look, so I think this looks good on here. Our fan sticks about where it needs to, which is halfway in the shroud or so. But if you really start staring at this factory shroud, there's like a lip that goes through back there. This is all open, so you're really only gonna pull air through where this meets up to the radiator, which leaves you a lot on each side exposed. So I'm gonna go around there and we're gonna measure and see where we can add on and kind of close this in, open some things up. And I think we could possibly get this factory shroud to fix our cooling issue. About 4 inches down at the bottom. I think I got us a game plan. 4 inch. This side we're just gonna cap. Those areas will enclose, and the shroud we're gonna open up. I'm gonna start with draining the radiator, I guess. Maybe not all of it. Nope. Or maybe all of it, since we lost that plug. It looks like we're gonna have to take our upper radiator hose off where this thing can try to come straight up out of there. That's got her flowing. Nobody likes a floppy hose in the way. Boom, tuck it under our snorkel. It gives us some wiggle room now. The not so fun part of this job's getting the fan off, just because those blades, boy, you'll wear your hand out down in there. Rubs your hand the whole time. It's not bad, just by the time we do 4 of them, I probably ain't gonna have a thumb lift. No big deal. I don't need a thumb anyways. I don't plan on doing any hitchhiking anytime soon. Unless this overheats this summer, then I may be hitchhiking home or something. What is that? Cute little train whistle or what? Toot toot. Yo, let's not throw that through our radiator, huh? All right, with that drop, the next question is, will it all come out now? Oh yeah, that gets us our fan. Gotta be careful here with that pump, or those studs sticking out of the pump. Boy, we may not be able to get that out of there without either picking the radiator up as a whole, pulling those studs as well. Going for the double nut method, that is working so great. Woo! That's a tight fit. With her on the table, what we're gonna look at doing is there was a little extra radiator sticking above this, but only about 1 inch worth. Instead of extending this whole piece, I think we can just cap this down and over. Inside here, we are actually gonna open this up so it pulls over to this side. These holes right here, we're gonna sheet metal on the back side so that whole little pocket becomes enclosed. Down here on the bottom, this side we're gonna drop down about 4 inches and bring over to get this corner. This corner down here we're not so worried about. We're just gonna cap in this because we've got this goofy radiator in here and it's missing that corner anyhow. So that clears the steering box. Up top, we'll do the same thing as over there, and of course, just sheet metal in these holes right here. If we pull this off, then this whole thing and this whole thing will also start moving air, which will hopefully be the difference we need to keep this from doing that slow climb up. Yeah. Yeah. I want to fight a little bit. I think it won the fight because I scratched myself with it. For fill pieces, I'm not going to get super technical. It's going to just lay on this backside. We'll tack it on, so it's not like anyone's ever going to see it. Let's go 4 3/4, 2 1/4 at the top, 3 1/2 at the bottom. The thing is, the way that swoops, if we go down that corner, we're not going to cover the bottom, so we need to pop up about 1 inch like so. Just something like that. And as long as it covers all that, we're good to go. Lay them out, cut them out. Yow! Ow! Oh, someone's been doing some squats lately. His legs are on fire. Have y'all ever been grinding and got a spark up the nose and it burns your nose hair? If you use a grinder a lot, I'm sure you have. It happens to the best of us. This just happened. It was the first time ever that when it got in there, it burns the hair. Of course, you smell that. For some reason, it smelled like a chorizo breakfast burrito to me. Made me hungry. P-Tang is on fire. Whoa! He is on fire. Let's not get set on fire. Hey, speaking of that, you know, we're welding. Let's get this 4 gallons of fuel. We're throwing sparks, you know. We don't want this to be our next fire. Sometimes I get some pretty awesome stuff in the mail. Someone sent this out, speaking of gasoline. Datsun saves about a gallon of gasoline a day. How cool is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking good. Weld up our other side where we cut that with the slice and dice. I want to round those edges, knock that sharp edge off. We don't want to be grabbing this thing, cutting ourselves. Let's see how she looks. A little flip up. And other than it looking like it has a bunch of warts from that paint bubbling up, it looks pretty dang good, guys. Now if we can get that blended out, that'll be ready for a little black paint. Up next, we gotta cap this. So I'm just gonna shove it against there, the cardboard, and it should mark it for us. Ha-ha! It should be about perfect. Still a little grinding over there. And there ain't much to this fit up, guys. We just get her right in place where she needs to be. Tack her in the middle. She's getting hot, hot, hot. Use a roll lock and slick that baby out. Now you can see how that should sit down towards the radiator and closes this whole little thing. Driver side, I did the bottom for that gearbox. This side, we are gonna actually add a piece of sheet metal, like a little pocket. To extend this piece here, she gets a little more complicated just because of our curve up there. So we're just gonna be able to follow to that shape. I said we need to go 4 inches this way. We know when we wrap that curve, we just need to come 3/4 of an inch down. You gotta start to bend there. It's not a sharp bend, so we gotta bend that over something fat. Trim it down right there. If we can make it out of cardboard, we can make it out of metal. Got our piece of metal tuned in. Let's take this to the sheet metal brake. Be sure to flip your piece or you'll bend it the wrong way, and then you'll be doing it again. Ask me how I know. I used to be an expert at that. I gave me a bunch of lines where I know just to be able to move, and we're just trying to bend them all a little bit, and that kind of gets you a curve going. See what I mean? I didn't quite get the bend right, but I've got this tacked into place. Took the pliers and pulled that out. Now we'll tack it just right there on the corner to hold it. And I'm actually gonna pull it out just a hair more. And then I'm gonna pull it in. Finish welding that piece on, we'll grind it down. We're gonna leave our weld over here, cap this bottom side too. And now I think y'all can see what I'm trying to accomplish. Breaking news, everyone. Get it? Because it's news about brakes, breaking news. Here at Puddins.fab.shop, we like terrible jokes and old cars. And sometimes our old cars, they're like terrible jokes. They just don't stop. Are your brakes squeaking, or are they maybe chattering? When you hit the brake pedal, do you feel it pumping your leg from a warped rotor and now you're dancing like Cotton Eye Joe? Well, if so, then boy howdy do I have good news for you. O'Reilly Auto Parts is currently offering a free set of Brake Best pads whenever you buy 2 Brake Best Select, Brake Best Select Pro, or Import Direct rotors. Now I know what you're thinking. How did you just say all that so easy? Well, it's simple. I've used these products for years, guys, so they simply roll off the tongue. It really is that easy though, guys. You buy 2 rotors and boom, baby, them pads are free. Well, what's the catch? There is no catch. Yeah, but what's the deal? This is the deal. Huh? Are there any upgrades available? Well, I'm glad you asked. For $10 more, you can upgrade to the Brake Best Select Premium Pads. For $20 more, you can upgrade to the Import Direct or the Brake Best Select Pro Premium Grade Pads. Woo! Those sound nice. Personally, I like the Brake Best Select Pros. In fact, we're gonna put the Pro pads with the Brake Best rotors on my wagon. Now this is gonna be quite the upgrade from the cheapo brake parts that come with that cheapo kit I bought online and put on this originally. And actually, they're already on there, and the squeaks I was having went away, and she's stopping better than ever before. So if you're like me and you want your brakes to perform, but you don't want your brakes to make you broke, get down to your local O'Reilly Auto Parts to take advantage of this limited time offer. I mean, come on. What's stopping you? Stopping? Another, that terrible joke got me choked up. It was so good. Shake you up some good primer. My poor DA, she's about crapped out on me. She ain't got much left in her. So I did DA out a little bit on the top to help feather those. The rest of it just got Scotch-Brite. I'll be honest, this thing now, to ever look really good again, I think it'd have to be sandblasted and full stripped down. And we ain't got no time for that. So quick little scuffing spray. That's what we got time for. Y'all know I'm a fan of the semi-gloss black engine enamel. That's what was on here in the first go around. And as always, we're gonna go a light coat just to get some color down. Then we'll come back with one thick mama. Give her a couple coats. I've had her out here baking in the sun. That's been setting up. That gave me enough time to get me a sandwich. That was a lot more little pieces than I was kind of anticipating, I guess. Not that it was bad. Kind of worked out good because I got to really consume a lot of little odds and ends of 18 gauge I've been keeping over there. The thing is, we may have done all that work and it may not work. I just don't want to put electric fins on here. More or less because I didn't want to add more wiring. This already has the vintage air wiring that comes like that and looks terrible. We'd kind of be to the point of needing to rework a lot of that. On these cars, on my 64, I used fans from like a 01 or 02 LS1 Camaro. My roommate had them. They were really easy to make fit on one of these cars. Got a few of our studs started. Don't forget to drop that back in this one.
That lock nut does not want to come off there, so I'm tired of fighting it. I'll just use it like a bolt. Watch out for everything. Heck yeah, baby! She started. Woo! We can even use power tools. Be careful though. That shroud is what was holding that trigger. We don't want to sit there and... I think that means over torque it. This one's gonna be the easy job. Oh, jinx myself, why don't I? I mean, compared to picking up the shroud, the condenser brackets, and the radiator brackets, all that has to start, or bolts go through it all. It can be a lot of fun getting all that lined up. Woo! That one over there actually started a lot easier than I thought it was going to. I don't think this side's gonna be so nice. There we go. Should be right in there. Come on. Play nice. Come on. Come on. Whew. Don't breathe on it. Don't look at it. Don't touch it. This fought me a lot less than I thought they were going to. Other side's all done. She is in there and she is tight and she looks right. God bless America. We had a floater. Let's get this baby outside. Oh, see, there's how you lose tools right there. And let's get her heating up. Guys, we had done some changes on that carburetor a while back. I told you at the end of the one video that I thought it was helping. I've been driving this thing a lot. Adjusting those floats on the LD Brock carburetor helped a ton. I don't have to fight it after it gets nice and hot starting. You may crank, and then boom, she'll bust off. No more flooding. See, like up here in this corner, I can feel it pulling air now. I guess I didn't really feel around before, but that would have been open. It ain't super duper strong, but it's still moving some, guys. Down there in the bottom, we wouldn't have been moving air, and I can feel it moving too. I think we have to be moving more air across that radiator than what we were. Now we just gotta let her heat up. Kick our AC on, where we put more of a load on it. A rev on it. Damn dog put him, got that hot rod wagon. He's out there revving on it. Took about 10 minutes. And I got her just about crept up to 180. I see it kind of moving around. I'm wondering if our thermostat didn't just open on us. I officially got her to $180. It has taken an excessively long time, but I did manage to get it to hit 200. So now I'm just gonna let it sit here and idle and see if it continues to creep up or if it cools itself back down, because I had to like almost force it to get it there. Well, she's got up to about 205, but that's where it seems to stay. I've revved it a couple times and it may try to creep up, but then I'm seeing it creep back down. Unfortunately, we got stuff we have to go to, school stuff into the year, and I was supposed to be getting ready like 5 minutes ago, guys, so I might have to head in. I don't know that we've full fixed our problem. I can tell you 100% it's way better, because I've been sitting in this thing for about half an hour now, and before you'd have maybe, after it got hot, 5-10 minutes of sitting there, 5 minutes, and you had already been crept up past 210. Oh, as I was talking, we did hit 210. That's the thing, if it stops at 210, we're still fine. We just don't want it going past 210. Well, you want the good news or the bad news? Good news is I got back yesterday evening and went put some miles on this old girl to give it a proper test. Bad news is, sure enough, it crapped up to 210. I let it sit there idle. Got out about 85 degrees yesterday, and sure enough, it just slowly kept creeping up. Slower than ever. We made a dent in it, but it's just not enough. Pop our lid off and check that. Make sure it is nice and full, and it is. Guys, I think I'm done playing grab butt with the factory shroud, with the mechanical fans. I've tried different combos of spacers, depths, this and that. We could pull that out
Add a fan clutch, space it forward, build a new shroud, and we may still have a problem. I think we're gonna end up putting electric fans. In fact, I ordered some yesterday. That should be in at the parts house today. Before we get on that though, I've been having some squeaking brakes on the rear since I've been driving this thing more. We're gonna tear into this just to see if we need any parts back there, or if it's just a simple, let's clean the slides and put some fresh lube on them. Let's see what's going on. Now give me about 15 more minutes of jacking and we'll get it. There's a process to pull these wheels and tires off. I don't remember the process, but they're just so big, I don't remember them coming right off. And very gracefully remove your center cap. All right, so I slid that out where that wouldn't fall on that, and then let that down as far as it'll go, and we still can't get it. I'm gonna use the old tiptoe sketcher, try to jack that up a little. There we go. Or we pop our shocks. Oh, the sacrifices of having slammed vehicles. Actually, this being low ain't really the issue. It's more the width of this tire size. Coming down, hopefully more. And still, y'all see how much I had to, like pick up and wiggle that thing? Success, great success. I think we're dealing with the case of the cheap eBay parts. Slippity slap your hardware back on real quick, just because I'm gonna be laying here. And I'll end up losing that. Now our calipers, I believe these, or this little parking brake lever, comes from the older Cadillac, like an 80s Cadillac, if I can remember correctly. I can't quite recall. Little grime stuck on there. Nope. Very gracefully, we will also just remove the caliper off there. And kind of looking at our pads here, that one's got funny wear on it. You'll see how it's only, looks like it's been catching there. She slicked over. They don't have very good contact. Little inspection of the rotor here. Everything looks really good, guys. It feels good. I don't feel like it's ever been warped, like it's got hot, got wavy. I mean, I'm sure it's not accurate at all to lay you a razor blade around there, but anywhere I check that, everything just looks nice and true and flat to a fresh new razor blade. So, you know, probably not the most accurate test, but usually by hand, if they're bad, you run your hand on it and you go, boy, that ain't good. And this one feels good. Now, as far as our cheap pads go that came with this, I do like that they have tapered ends, but I don't know if it'll show how well in the camera, but that sucker's glassed over. You don't want pads that look glassed over, so to speak. Over here on this one, the contact surface is glassed over, and it looks like some chunks broke out the back. So I think we'd be doing pretty good to get us a better set of brake pads for the rear. And this one's got a few more streaks and lines on it, which ain't as promising looking. Kind of feels high right along where that hard line is. And this one, I don't know if y'all can see, but there's light from that flashlight coming up underneath there. That's definitely more warped than our other one is. Now, my original hope was we tore in back here, everything looked good to go, and we were gonna throw a little slickum on the caliper bolts and slap it back together, and magically our squeak was gonna go away. Definitely want new brake pads after seeing how glazed those ones are. But knowing we've got at least one warped rotor, guys, I think we're gonna hop on the O'Reilly Auto Parts special. If you buy the 2 rotors and you get the brake pads for free, because we're talking about 3 components here. 2 rotors, 1 set of pads, and I'm saying 2 out of the 3 could use improvement. So we'll just do all 3 and get a deal on it. Kind of funny, this one ain't glazed over as bad as that side is, but this rotor is warped like it got hotter. That don't really make sense.
And this one has much different contact pattern on both pads versus that one over there. Whatever. Quick search showed for like a 79 Cadillac Eldorado has that little parking brake lever for that caliper like we were looking for. So that'll make finding the pads easy. We are going to take the blown out muffler travel-all. Load up. Leo, you better go get some fuel or we're going to be walking. Well, luckily we made it without running out of gas. Yeah. And luckily, as long as you got a 1/2 wrench, my battery is pretty easy to change. Yep. Woo! Well, slapped our battery in quite literally. I left my window down. It came a stinking downpour, guys. Y'all know I love getting rained on. I did get us a fan assembly we're gonna install on the wagon. As far as the brake pads, finding them was no problem, but we still have not locked in which rotors those are yet. We don't need no stinking windshield wipers, Theo. We made it. We made it. Well, I plan to get back and figured they may have to order rotors. So I was thinking when we got back, we would throw this on the lift and go ahead and do our mufflers on that. However, it's nice and wet, so we'll let it sit here and dry. I guess we're back on our wagon cooling issue. We kind of repeated yesterday as far as prepping the wagon. I pulled the shroud, the fan, drained the radiator, moved that radiator hose. Y'all have already seen that. It's been a long, long time since I made those Camaro fans fit my 64. Now these are for, I just ordered them for an SS Camaro 01 through the parts out there. Let's see how this matches up to what we need over there. The steering box is what's getting us on this one. I think that's the big factor in all this. My 64 had the factory power steering. We added power steering on this. And that big old box down there is what's kind of hitting right now. Now width-wise, like I said, everything is pretty good. Our upper radiator hose is not going to work right there, but I never said we weren't going to have to do no trimming. In fact, we may even be able to do a little trimming down here. I do remember having to do a little bit of trimming on the 64. The edge, like that to that tank, or to that end, I mean, and that to that end is like near perfect though. Shoo. That's gonna be a problem though, because that has to drop lower, because that fan is gonna rub on that. So we have to get it down some before we can trim out the top. TMI, but I had to use the restroom, and when I was doing that, I did some part number researching, and I found us a replacement rotor for you guys. If you have one of these cheapo online kits, 5044 RGS. That's a rear brake rotor. Shows to fit like 79, 80, and 81 Pontiac Firebird. So I've got us 2 rotors on order. And down in here, our fans are hitting this, so I marked our fans. We're about to void the warranty and grind that sucker out. You start melting plastic or grinding on it. Razor blades are nice to trim your edges with. Kind of drag her along and you'll scrape off stuff like that right there. So we may have ground on her, but she looks good. Our goal is to get this to drop down far enough where we can clearance over here and not hit our fan, which I do believe we accomplished. So we'll drop that down into there, make sure our edges are lined up, and then as far as that drops down, we want to try to keep it level, and then we'll have to mark this to cut it out. We can grind down to this, but we can't really go through this part because our fan's right on the other side. Also, that's a lot of strength. Quick trim, quick trim. Feel like that'll just break off there once it gets hot. My spot was good. I just had to grind out a little more so we could clear for a radiator hose. I mean, that looks pretty stinking good. Let me look at her from back in here. I mean, that looks nice, guys. Main thing we got to do now, besides obviously mounting it, and these may move enough air that it would not matter, but what we need to do to keep this pretty legit is find a way to close this gap between here, where again, it's performing as a shroud, and it can't just suck hot engine bay air and kind of recirculate it, keep going around there. The more you close that off, the more air is forced across the radiator and condenser. Surely we'll do a better job than we did the first time. And that right now, the fan is about an inch off the fins. We just got to figure out how to close this up now. Check that side, check this side. About 2 7/8 seems to be the magic number. We could probably round that up to 3 inch. Got some 1 inch wide, 1/8 inch thick strap here. Honestly, probably too thick or thicker than what we need, but already being the width we need at 1 inch, it'll save us some time. My plan is to actually lay something in there. So down here at the bottom, we can break that. We'll attach this to our fan shroud where then it fits to the radiator good. Then we'll actually worry about mounting this over there. Gonna break that 90. That closes that in. Our fan right here is gonna get a little worrisome. Just put the slightest of break in that. We go to about the middle, break it back the other way. That needs a little more. Yeah, it looks better. And jog her back straight. Hopefully we zigzag around that. That's pretty stinking good. Right there at that corner, I'm gonna break for a 45. That way we go from here up to here. Or actually, that may interfere with our tank. Let's just cut that baby down. Next, we're going to create tabs to be able to weld to this, to attach to that. Got some 3/4 inch wide, going 7/8 long. Going for 2 of these bad girls. Quick rounding of the corners and wire wheel sure cleans that up. Not that they're gonna matter bolted back there where no one will ever see them. I guess we know they're there, huh? As far as our holes go, I'm drilling them a hair oversized. We're gonna go for a 1/4 inch bolt, but just a hair will give us a little bit of wiggle room, which I don't mind. I don't mind. Notice I set that on that to push that out that 1/8 inch. And I think that's gonna be just about stinking perfect. A few little tack-a-lacks down through there's fine for no more than what we're doing. Expedite the cool off. Bolted our bottom into place. That'll work as a guide. Get our top into place. And now we've got a side to this that we can easily paint black and should help us enclose our air. Everything looks good, except if we try to go back, see, we need to close that gap, but we also need to close that gap. This is hitting here, so it looks like we need to come in about right here and give that a little trim job. I trimmed our top, and down here where the tank seam is, I had to put a notch in there so that could sit flush. But look at that now, guys. That needs to be picked up on a little bit. But that is pert near perfect. That should definitely help seal that sucker up. This side went nice and easy because it's a straight shot, except where I ended up bolting that down there, I was trying to avoid this rib on the bottom side, but see how that allows that to deflect? I'd really like that to be straight. I found this piece from cutting down our length on the ground, and we are gonna weld that on the end there. We'll put an extra bolt down here on this one. This side we got low enough where it was good. You just full weld that sucker on and drill us a hole. That's got her fixed up. That looks good. Shoo-wee! Look at that fit over here, guys. That is beautiful. Slap a C-clamp or two on there to hold that in place. And I like where it's at right there. We know that's about 2 7/8. I cut us a piece about 3 1/4 long. Broke it at the 2 7/8. That's the 1-inch wide stuff. You can tell I'd rounded the corners on it too. And I'm thinking we can just set that right into place like so and weld it to that bracket. Put us a mark here where our hole is. And then I set that up in place and marked it. So now we know where to drill. Over there we use 5/16 on our bolts. So I'm gonna go a little bit oversized where we've got some play room on it. Slap a few tacks on her. Now we just gotta build 3 more. Like I said, originally I didn't plan on mounting off these, but that holds those fans nice and strong. This makes it easy. My favorite part is, since 3 bolts hold this setup, with how we're doing this, we can always leave the fans out, get the middle bolt started to hold our condenser and our radiator where it needs to be, and then those ones will be nice and lined up, and it makes starting it all a lot easier. Versus our old setup where you're just trying to get all 3 layers of that crap started. Now all 4 of these I've been making the exact same, but over there, because that plastic shroud and stuff ain't perfect, and we're not perfect, they don't all line up perfect. Some touch the other piece of strap a little flatter than others, but guys, I'm really not too worried about it. Woohoo! Yeah! See, like over there, that bracket's kind of offset in from the tank, so I'm gonna bend that over so when we put that there, it goes out past the radiator, sits over, it'll weld. I'm just pouring the heat to it. Now we can remove our C-clamps. And now if we want to take our fans out, we're gonna have to remove 4 bolts. A little cleanup, get a little paint on them where they can start setting up. And over here, these big goofy tabs we have hanging off that we're not going to use, I'm cutting them off. Like those ones I just cut straight, and then they were at a sharp point, so then I cut flat, and that looks a lot better than a big obnoxious tab hanging out there. Paint's still a little sticky. I'm just too impatient and the sun ain't out, so we can't bake it on fast. This time I'm going nylock, guys. Just telling Bill what's nice about this is, for whatever reason we ever have a problem with these fans or this assembly, these brackets now, you unbolt them, and it would take absolutely no time to then notch the few things on the fan assembly and be able to bolt these on, and they'll bolt right into the wagon. Takes a little extra work to make the stuff fit like that, but it's nice because now everything's pretty serviceable moving forward. Let me spin these the right way, we'll put them in. Slap that baby back in, guys. That looks pretty dang good. The only thing that could make her look better is if this piece down to that bracket was all one solid sheet metal piece. I think that'd look nicer, but not that serious. Me and Bill ran to get some bolts, need some 5/16-24s, the fine thread, to put in our pulley there. Of course, all they had was 1-inchers, so we're doing the custom cut down. We only need about half that. Little chamfer on the end and quick clean up on the wire wheel. All right, we got a lot more room for activities in here now with having that 55-gallon drum out of here. So I was not looking forward to doing the electrical fans for pretty much one reason, and that was the wiring. Not that I'm scared of it, I just didn't want to booger this up and make it uglier, because the vintage air stuff is already doing a great job of that. Well, I remembered I had this little fuse box. It's a little universal thing, and it'll hold X amount of fuses and relays. We're gonna install this to clean up everything. So now I'm kind of excited because we're gonna get rid of all that ugly crap too. What's cool about doing this is we're basically free to lay it out however we want. So we're gonna do a power in. We need a fuse, 2 fuses for the vintage air. That's already there, but we're gonna trim them out. They'll be added to here. We need 2 fuses, 1 to each relay for each fan. Now all I have is this big stuff, so we're gonna use it. We're gonna try to use it. I don't think this was meant to feed this. So those daisy chained together, as long as we get that attached there, that pops down into there, that supplies your constant 12 to your 4 fuses. I got her held in place. I'm hoping this will just solder clean, and we'll just feed the solder to it, and that's what will hold her. Ooh, she's liking that solder. Well, she seemed to solder nice. Think that's going anywhere, Bill?
Not till it breaks off.
We'll try it. If for whatever reason this ends up not lasting, it won't be hard to fix it or adjust it, but I bet it will. Little workaround here. If those are hitting that little plastic divider, I'm cutting down on both sides of it. And then we'll pry down in there, do a little grab and spin, pull that chunk of plastic out of there. Don't ask me why I went like that. That was weird. Did we cut it deep enough? That's the next question. Nope. I feel like something clicked. If it clicks, it sticks. Oh yeah, I think we got her now, guys. Now those pop up in there. And the fuse, once we get one, especially on the other side, but right there. Oh yeah, that fits nice. Now we got 12 volts going to those, and then we'll do separate coming out, of course. Next, we'll work on our 2 jumpers that are gonna go from the fuses to our relays. These ones will be for our fans. And this little bit smaller wire, she can actually crimp, which is nice. Even though she crimps, we are gonna go ahead and solder each connection, guys. Might as well. And besides solder, we want her to look professional, so we are gonna heat shrink this sucker too. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Find the sweet spot. And play hard to get. Now, I thought I bought a new one of these, and I did. I just didn't realize it's not adjustable. It had a little feature that I thought was the where you could regulate it, and it was just a lock. Well, dang it. So now I gotta do the double light. This one we can ease her on down, which is what we need. Now this is gonna have the wiring cleaned up and looking nice, but it's gonna come at a cost. Just a lot of time. We have a lot of time in finishing out each wire. Yes, we will. So those 2 installed, we just got to decide where we're gonna put our relays. I'm gonna take them to this far outside is my plan. We gotta take it to the leg that says 30, the old dirty 30. I'll show you in a minute. I wrote it on this box to help me remember, because I'm good about forgetting. For your relay, battery supply to your 30 amp, recommended to be fused. Going out the other side, that's going for us, fan, but whatever device you're running, compressors, lights perhaps. To trigger it, you got to have a ground on 85 and a 12 volt source on 86. For us, we're going to run 12 volt key to 86, and then our ground that closes it is going to come from a temperature switch that ends up going into the engine. Well, and we got to consider for factoring in our AC trinary switch and stuff too. It's fine. I've got this. So for our wire, this will be our one that ends up going to our 12 volt key. I don't have a source yet, but we know it's gonna need to split off and power or engage both relays. So we're gonna solder that up. Hopefully I left enough distance there. Should be fine. And guys, I wish it was a lot more exciting than what it is, but it's not. Like this good thick black wire here, making sure to have plenty. Crimped our connections on, we'll solder it, heat shrink it. These will be our outputs out of the relay. So our red wire went in that side, these will come out the other side. These will be what actually go to the fan. That's why we want one good solid chunk of wire on that. I'm just gonna knock some of this out. I wonder who invented soldering. Who was the old solder father? Solder father. More important question, who invented the propane torch? Henry Burns. Pop those 4 in. Opened up our trinary switch here, and she comes with a diagram. See, a binary switch, it's just gonna do your pressures, your high and your low. The trinary gives you a electric fan engagement. It says here at 254 psi. So it's gonna cycle in those fans for you. Now looking at this, they show that 86, which we'd put our yellow wires to, is your ground source. It shows 85 as the 12 volt key. So I swapped those on ours. I put the yellow ones over there for 85, and then for 86, I spliced those 2 black wires together, and that comes out right here. So that ground, as you can see, one leg, or we're gonna tie to it a blue wire from our trinary switch, our temp sender from the engine. If we wanted to put it even just on a manual toggle switch, just ground one side of the toggle, then the other side of the switch, you could run it into that bunch. Basically, as soon as you put any type of ground to this is when we're gonna engage the fans, as long as the key's on. So I'm happy with this. We're gonna look at mounting it. We do still need to add in our 2 wires from our vintage era, as far as these ones that are already fused. I'm planning on mounting it over here though, and as you can see, that wiring runs this way. So we're just gonna cut this wire down and crimp on our other connection. We're gonna run that wire straight into our fuse box. It'll be that one and our red one. So we'll leave our battery in here for now, just where we can kind of figure out our positioning. We got plenty of distance between there. We'll trace her just a bit where I kind of know where I liked it, and then we'll get this up out of here to give us a little more work room. Golly, that sucker's on there. Woo! That one wasn't gonna fall off. What an ugly mess. We'll get her held into place and mark it. Yeah. This one's gonna be pert near impossible. Oh, here, man. Dramatic much? Pert near impossible puts it right in. I'm just having to do this one a little at a time. There you go. All right. Can't believe Vintage Air makes you use this crap. And I'm pretty sure they void your warranty if you don't use it. Yeah, but just how tacky. So it looks like we can snip that right there. And that can have plenty of slack up underneath there. And then our red one as well. Get our fuse holder ends on here. You can use that hot exhaust right there to do your heat shrink if you ain't got a whole lot. It'll do 1 or 2 fairly quick. Let's see what our orange had. She's a 30 amper. So we're gonna do orange next because we've got 30 amp and 30 amp for our fans. So then we got 30 amp for the AC. Let's see what old red was. Oh, curveball is a mini, but that's all right. We're just gonna put a regular one in there, no problem. All that matters is we know it was a 10 amp. So then we've got our next 30. And up last, we've got our 10 amp. I think y'all can start to see why I'm excited about doing this. how much nicer this is gonna look underneath here. Now, as far as a good ground, I'm gonna grind that down because I'm gonna weld a bolt right there. And then this, put us a new end. We'll go right to that 1/4-20 stud that's welded. And then we got those in the eyelet now. Boom, it'll go right there. Well, that'll ground this car good, ground this good, ground everything good. Put us a nylock on that baby too. We'll run our 2 wires that go down to our fans in with the red and the orange, just so that kind of looks nice right there. You can see I'm splitting off. This I'm gonna fish underneath our battery box and towards the fans. In fact, if I was a smart man, I'd put a good ground in there to that. Well, there's plenty of stuff to ground on over off there. Stuff like this will look nice though. If you see it and it's wrapped up, it looks better than just having some sloppy wires hanging. Kind of got rocking and rolling, making a mess. Let me show you what we're doing. I decided to clean up our positive lead too, because by the time we ran that, or the 12 volts from this to that, we was gonna have 4 cables hanging off there. I elected to mount us a distribution post down here. So our alternator wire that was running up there, I cut it shorter, added an eyelet. This wire up here that goes and feeds everything 12 volts in the car. I extended it from up here. It was already spliced right there, so I spliced in again, made it longer. It's ran down there. This one here tucks over and is what's feeding our 12 volts here. And then of course, this one is gonna run up here. So when we get that all together, you'll just see that up top now instead of 4 terminals on there. Your trinary switch simply goes in place of the binary switch. There's already 2 wires there. Hook those 2 up. And then your other 2 additional wires, one needs to go to ground. And I had a ground up here, so I hooked that up. And the other one needs to run to the bunch of grounds that is then gonna kick in the fans. So I put some of that loom on there and zip tied that. That way you don't see all the connections. When the hood's closed, that should help hide all that in the grill instead of having a bunch of connections and wires and stuff. So that means this wire that comes through, we need to hook up to our black wire over here. Well, I just cut it down because we're about to solder those together. And I'm gonna add in 1 more wire, and we are gonna run it down along our transcooler lines because they're zip tied together. We should be able to slide it in with that. And there's a plug right back here on our head. That's the plug we'll end up pulling to put our temp switch in. So that can ground it, or stuff up here can ground it. I know some people want to run wires for a toggle switch. I never have. If you're thinking, oh, what happens if it quits working? Out here, you just simply unhook it off that sender and you can ground it to anything. And as long as you ground it, the fans are going to kick on. If you use a good quality temp switch, you probably won't have problems. The bad, or the cheapo depot ones, they can give you fits. I've been using the B Cools or Mr. Cools or something, and they do a really good job so far for me. Boom, baby, that's all soldered together. We'll tuck it a little better. It's just hanging out right now. That is it, except for old yellow here. So that's our 12 volt key. I've not decided where we're gonna get that from yet. So I'll get on that first thing in the morning, guys. That's our last wire to figure out. Boy, what in the Frankenstein we got going on here? I forgot to finish wiring up the actual fans. So I made a harness, ended up running 2 grounds from over here and just wrapping them all in where we just got a 4-wire harness. As you can see, I used black wire so it all looks the same. That's intelligent. But I put some red heat shrink where I know the 12 volt and the black where I know the ground. It's almost as intelligent as putting those fans in there without figuring out which blade is positive and which one's negative. That's what we're doing now. Yeah, that's spinning the wrong way. Go for a little swapperooey. There we go, that's moving some air. So looking at the fans, 12 volts on this side, ground on that side. So I'll route those down along there. There's a couple holes on this shroud, like right there, but on the other side, so I'll be able to zip tie those. It'll be nice. Hopefully underneath here, y'all can see how nice that looks. It lays out really, really good. That is the benefit of making your own harness and not using a kit. We can cut everything to proper length to fit. Really happy with that. The blaster 12 volt key, this was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be, guys. And the reason was I just didn't want a random wire ran across the engine bay, obviously. Right through that firewall's our fuse box. We got a hole up there where the gauges come through already. And this is easy because there's already spades there. So that one right there is 12 volt key. Now this wiring harness is clamped down through here and there's not really a good way to remove it. But I just took that wire along the bottom side, put us a little piece of that cloth tape every so often, and it pretty well hides it on the bottom. I let it roll up a little bit right there. But that looks perfectly fine. You really can't even see it going down through there. And then up here, we already had this wire exposed. There's this harness. Now we got this, so I'm just wrapping that all into one. So this is actually gonna make this look even nicer. Win. Wrapped all this up, come up here, tied that into our yellow, soldered, heat shrink, blah, blah, blah. Full wrap that, guys. And now that goes just like that. Check that out. Our bottom has a little cover that clicks on. Hooked our single wire up to the fuse box in there, popped our little cover on. Guys, look how much better this looks. Maybe it's just me, but I think that looks so much better, especially considering what we've added. All right, I do not have the temp switch to go in the head quite yet. It's supposed to be in today, but all it needs to see is a ground, so I stripped that wire. I got the key on in there, so in theory, if we ground this, those should kick on. Hey-yo. Hey-yo. Those suckers move some air too. What about out front? Oh yeah, that moves way more air across that than the mechanical fan was. Aaron said give it the rag test in one of our recent videos. I think that holds that sucker pretty good. Look, fold that sucker up, it still won't let it drop. And right here's the exact reason you want it on 12 volt key. So when you pull up, you're driving somewhere, it's hot, those fans have been running, you kill that key, your fans kick off. I hate when people just run a 12 volt source to the other side and then they pull up, they turn their car off and they go walking off and the fans are just, it's gonna sit there, just run down your battery. No, it's not a good way of doing it, guys. If you've done it that way, I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan. Apparently Theodore made a friend. You got you a friend, buddy? I see his shell's wet. You've been giving him kisses. Surely you ain't been trying to bite him, have you? Boy, he looks mean. I think he'll bite you back. You try to bite him, Theodore. Well, look at this sucker eyeballing me down. Have you heard the blown out muffler? This thing sounds like a turd. It sounds like it just left the casino or something. All right, we have a little look-see. Look how big these dang mufflers are. I kind of wanted this thing quiet. That was part of my goal. It does look like they're sitting down on that cross member, which was not part of the goal. I'm hoping we can do this in a way where we don't have to pull the whole exhaust. Not that it looks too bad to get to. It's not at all. I think this one may be okay. It's this one here that was all cracked out. Maybe y'all can see my booger welds. I tried to get in there and weld up what I could. Let's slice these puppies off here. That moving scared you, not me. Looks like we're gonna have to wiggle to get those out. Oh, so close. She cleared the cross member. We're just hitting the lift now. It ain't gonna go without cutting more. I'm your guy. She's free. Let's go run that baby now, huh? See, my damn old race travelog got the straight pipes on her. These mufflers aren't even 3 years old. Yeah, so that's not very impressive. I did not know what the muffler was as far as getting a replacement, but I mean, who wants to put that same thing on there anyways? Because those ones did not last very long. I grabbed some Dynamax turbo thrush whatevers, super turbo mufflers. Now what was interesting about our layout on this was we go offset for the inlet and then out the center for the outlet. So that was something I just had to pay attention to. That's how this muffler should be. Yeah! First, you want to Hulk slam your tape measure to get it prepared. Face this the right direction. And we're just going to kind of float this up in this area, guys. And I'm going to take a rough measurement of how much pipe we need to put on here. And I think I like the measurement of 9 inches. We're hoping these mufflers don't rust out, but we'll just use this exhaust tubing I already have. That's guaranteed to rust out next. Now that I cut that to length, I realize there's a little humdinger right there. She'll smack out back around. This piece of scrap out of the cabinet to kind of line those up. That welded up, we'll kind of butt it up down here. Now we just got to take another measurement, say 10 5/8. And we're going to try the technique of just welding this straight on to here, and then hopefully we can split all the differences over there and it's going to fit pretty good, hopefully. What a genius I am. With that one not having to ding like this one did, I realized this can actually slip on here. It's obviously going to make it stronger and much easier to weld. So this piece I cut 12 inches long. That way we got a little overhang. I marked 10 5/8. Then we'll kind of overlap that. Push a mark there. And then we should slip that to that mark. That'll then be our 10 5/8. Weld it. That piece burned in. I'm gonna try to get her tacked into place here. I can already tell from me cutting these with a sawzall, there's gonna be a little bit of an angle. So I'm just gonna have to, well, it could have been the pipe a little crooked on the old ones. Either way, we're just gonna have to tack a side on each side. And then I think we're gonna be left with a little Gaposaurus Rex to fill. Round one. Put us a good weld on that side. The gap's open on this side, but as we push that over right there, that should close that up. Oh, actually, that's looking pretty good. I do need to be mindful of our tailpipe because this has some wiggle to it. We do not want that over here hitting our sway bar end link. And that would have been good to notice before we'd cut that to length, because as that rotates over, it's pulling it back. And that is one heck of a gap right there. We rotate it back till it hits, and then everything's fine. She's a little pain to get to, but I managed to weld her all the way around. She's welded up. You don't want to see the top side. Boy, that was hard to get to. It's kind of bubbled up there. I ain't gonna lie to you, I just kind of pulled it around, and yeah, looks like crap. You'll also notice that this is still extremely close to this. In theory, as we put weight on that and that settles, it should go forward. If it clears, we'll leave it. If it does not clear, we're gonna cut right here. I know what you're thinking. Hey, Puddin', why didn't you just take the muffler down and put you a little longer piece on there where you could rotate it more? Well, I notice we're clearing here now. And I'd rather this be clearing and not dinging than being worried about trimming this if need be. Get back here. Runaway exhaust. You can run as fast as you can, but I'll catch you because I'm the pudding tang man. Hiya. Ain't too much, and then we just got guaranteed clearance. This is ugly, guys. Gap on this side was not very great. You can see up there it opened up. Over here, pretty big gap on this inside. The other side was closed up. But she's not rubbing anything, and the mufflers should not be blown out, so it should sound better. Now, I'd mentioned before I was hearing this kind of noise, and I thought it would be the brake dragging, but we've fixed our brakes dragging, and prior to suspecting the brake, I always thought it sounded like it's coming from the rear end. And this is factory Dana 44. Anyhow, once I realized the brakes were dragging, I was like, oh, that must be the dragging noise. But then we fixed that. We went driving last time, and since we added our new, bigger, heavier wheels, I thought I heard it even more. So since we've got her up in the air, this does look like it's been leaking some. I want to go ahead and pull this. We'll see if it's low. See if we see any sparkles. Hopefully not. Just enough in there that she comes rolling out. And I can see through all that. It looks really good. I don't see any sparkles in there. That's good royal purple gear lube in there. So that makes me feel better. I mean, if it's the, I don't know if it's the posi unit in there that sometimes is creating a noise or what the deal is, but as long as it ain't eating itself up, we're not gonna worry about it unless it becomes a bigger problem. You know what? I think there's some royal purple in this thing up underneath the seat. We could go ahead and flush it some, drain a little bit and then top it back off. Or I've at least got a additive we could put in there for the posi. I don't remember what additive I put in there the first time. I'll drain a little bit off. This stuff looks like it's in really good shape. It's a good sign. Whoa, whoa. Just playing. Yep. This has also been in there for about 3 years. Now, had I thought about doing this ahead of time, I would have got us another quart of this stuff and we would have just done a full service. But this is what she's gonna get. A little drain, a little fresh additive, and topped off. You get what you get, you don't throw a fit. Whoop, there she goes. That's the Puddins partial service job. That's one of the many services we offer here at the Puddins. Lube it and move it. We'll lube it, you move it. That's not beatboxing. That's how the old muffler sounded. Now we're about to fire this old girl up, see what she sounds like now. Go! Hey, if you touch your wrench that conducts electricity to both terminals, you will start to do this thing they call welding. One little hook down there, and then boop, that pops right where it needs to go. Here we go, moment of truth. Yes, she sounds pretty good. Oh, no, I don't like that. Not at idle. Giving it exhaust, or giving it gas, it sounds all right. That don't sound terrible. Come on, parts are in. Yep. It's always terrifying. Is it gonna give my middle part an 8-pound stomp or not? Who knows? I swear sometimes if I make him mad, he aims for it. Me and Theo dropped off our merchandise orders and went and picked up our brake parts. Those rotors from 79, 80, 81 Pontiac Firebird sure look like it to me. We can't win, guys. We fix some stuff on one, then something else goes wrong on the next. Right now our AC back here ain't blowing cold like it was. I finally got that adjusted right where I wanted it. The steering wheel was a little crooked this way or that way when I was driving, So I've got it lined up good now. Pop our horn button on to complete the look. On a somewhat positive note, I think I found some of my squeaks. That one squeak you're hearing is the upper shock mount. Hardware is just a little loose, enough to let that shock move around a little bit. Before, I used to credit all this noise to them back doors, the side doors, which some of them still do have a little squeak to it. But this one's getting a little out of hand. And it sounds like it's coming from inside the vehicle, so I've always looked for them in there. And then I started shaking on the vehicle, and I heard squeakity squeakity. So I crawled up underneath here to take a peekity peekity. Now see that little bit of turn I got? Not much at all. That just fixed our squeak. That's all it was. Now you can hear the airbags kind of squishing around and stuff, but you don't hear that inside the truck. Yeah. Hear that noise? That sounds real good. That is this hardware that's just a hair loose. And I'm guessing this just has come from driving, guys. Stuff wears in a little bit or whatever. Of course, I said that, and I don't feel like I can turn this. Just tightening that little bit was what she needed. Old rotor, new rotor. And guys, I elected to get the old Brake Best Select Pros for this. I mean, you can look at the packaging and tell this is nice stuff, guys. I put these on the van, and they are great. These are awesome, awesome brake pads. So let's see if we can't get a side back together here. Let's get us some brake clean, some looby dooby, and a rag, and something to put our camera on. Do y'all like that view, that angle? That's what it looks like if I crawl on top of you. All right. My poor wife. Rotor looks good on there. Those are hard to move. We're gonna pop those out, clean them up. That stuff's all gummed up on there. Maybe that's what's causing her squeaking. Clean it inside and out. That's what kind of allows that to float around some, right? So that's all gummed up and hard to move like that. That could definitely create some issues. She's clean now. Our bolts, we're gonna do the same thing. Just clean these suckers up when we've got them out. Oh yeah, that looks way more gooder. Now, I guess since we're going new everything, I probably need to shove these in because our piston's out some. I'll be right back. If you don't have one of these little special tools, just get you a C-clamp. That just pushes against that and it'll shove that sucker back in there. We don't have this clip, or we don't have room for this clip. I like that little backer on there though, so I really don't want to take that off. So I don't know if that's just because these aftermarket or whatever, whoever made these calipers, that piston ain't hollow like they are a lot of times. I'm gonna just try to take this clip off. See, this one has this style. This probably wouldn't be an issue if I wasn't piecing together kits here. Most folks didn't know I specialize in custom brake pads. One of my many talents. I think that voids the warranty or what? Just little looby in there. Little in there. Oh wow, look how easy that goes in there now. Before I couldn't even move them. Now look at that slide action. Little slippy slide. Slide, slide, slippity slide. Got one custom brake pad. One not so custom brake pad. And with any luck, all this is gonna slide on here. As soon as I get everything perfectly aligned. I ain't got there yet. Ooh, that's a tight fit. Well, never mind, it ain't that tight of a fit or that wouldn't fall out of there. What in the devil's happening? I can't see a thing up here. I did one very simple thing to help get this bottom bolt started. I grabbed our rotor and I spun it. Those pads, y'all see it has that blue coating on there. That's a material that helps to like seat to the rotors, I guess you'd say. I think it's, ow, ow, there it went, just with my fingertips in there. But that blue stuff, I think from sliding on that had kind of bound up. So when I spun on that at first, it was kind of hard, but after it spun, it let me line everything right up, get that bottom one started. Just smash my fingers. Now we'll get the top one started. All right, that should be it. I know that's gonna be tight because we gotta drive that sucker and wear some of that down. Over here we'll do a little rinse and repeat. Well, doing this side, I guarantee you I know what the real problem was with that side. I thought it was that blue stuff, but I don't know if you see how easy this side's moving. I thought I'd ran this caliper in all the way using our little tool, and apparently I did not. So then I gave it a little extra ugga-dugga, and it didn't go a whole lot further, but just a hair further. And this side's as loose as can be, so I guarantee that side, I just didn't run our tool in far enough. Because this side here is easy money. Yep. And now this is where it'd be nice to have an extra set of hands, because we gotta get our springs happy. Springling. Golly, thick mama. That'll make you want to grab the other one too. Grab both at the same time. Before we try to wiggle everything back into place, don't forget we gotta slip these in here somehow. Just a custom slip fit. What do you mean lift it up and put a normal tire on it? No thanks. Stock's boring. This is totally worth it. My wagon looks sweet. Take her up some. Then I'm gonna have to wiggle in here and check our spring alignment. Easier said than done with jack stands and jack in the way. Well, I'm grease lightning. Whew. Little high on the jack. I could almost pull that down. Let's go a hair down, not much. I was wrong. I'll go down more than that. Well, with the wheel in there, we can't go any lower than that. Yeah. There's a bracket that hangs that the coil spring's just catching on just enough to make it a plane. I reached over there, pulled that wheel out like this, rear end dropped a little more, and then I was able to spin it where I need it. This side, we're pretty close on already. Little pocket right there is where we're aiming for that pigtail right there to sit. Pick up on our wheel, get it off our spring, and then we'll keep going up. We're looking good. And go up a little more. How come you're not sliding right on? Huh? Flat washer, lock washer, nut. That pigtail looks good. That one over there looks good. We've got our whoop now, boys. Oh yeah. All right. Take her up as high as we can to get some spring tension on there. But don't get too carried away. We want to get our wheel on as well. I know some of you are thinking, boy howdy, I would never want to have a flat tire with that wagon, especially on the side of the road. And all I can say to that is, you and me both. I don't know what the hell I'd do. Push it in the ditch and start walking, I guess. Have to hike these shorts, throw a little leg. You know what I mean? Someone pull over quick. Either that or the glare off of them would blind somebody and cause a wreck. One of the two. Let's just giving everything a quick once over before I set her down. And seeing this bolt with this clamp right here is loose. We don't want that rattling on us next. I can guarantee you our braking power just improved. Woo! Got me earning that one. Since we had to replace our trinary switch, we're gonna have to charge our AC. I noticed over here when I'd pulled that cap that it was leaky in there. So I'm pretty sure our Schrader valve was leaking and the cap is what was keeping it from leaking out. I have one, so we're just gonna go ahead and replace it before we service it. How come we're not pulling vacuum? What's the deal, Pickle? Need to flip-flop our yellow hose. This has a Schrader valve in here on this little adapter, and this end has the end to push that. I had it flipped a second ago. That'll do it. That sounds more like what we want to hear. Here she goes. As she sucks down, let's keep the randomness going. Not really random. I mean, we've kind of been messing with cooling situations. We recently got the AC working on this, and now it wants to slowly overheat. She is electric fan setup, but I don't see anything on those fans indicating they're good quality fan, and I think it's an issue of lack of moving air. Same thing over there. So on this one, we should be able to do a pretty simple upgrade, which is just hopefully putting some better fans on it. And we don't have to entirely build everything. Let's get our air intake out the way. Good thing I only have real short 1/4-inch bolts to use and everything. And then this shroud just has like some Phillips headed sheet metal screws. It's the ones across the top look simple enough. I don't really know what's on the bottom. Hey, there's an air filter in your way, huh? Pull our hose back. Oh yeah, it feels like there's some down there too. Looks like we just got 2 screws on the bottom. Unplug that, that's our 2 12 volts. And then right here's our 1 ground that both of them share. So as long as we get those ones out the top now, this baby should slide up out of here. Oh yeah, that's nice. Also a nice short bolt. Oh nope. There's 2 more underneath there. They're just underneath the ledge that's like impossible to see. Took another 20 minutes to get those ones out. They were right there, but down between this, so it was hard to get to. Let's take these in the shop, see what we got. What are you doing, lazy? Well, like I said, I don't really see a name brand on them. Right here's what I got, which is a Spall brand. I've had really good luck with these Spall fans, actually moving a lot of air like they're supposed to. Not a huge fan of these being riveted on. Let's drill these out if we can. Alright, that gets us freed up. Next question is, will these ones go in pretty well the same? The holes do not line up. In fact, these are even bigger fan. Alright, curveball. I thought these were the same size as these. And each fan looks to be, or that's about 1 inch bigger or a little more. So by the time we do 2, I guess we're gonna be lucky if these even fit. Pretty much learned anytime I think I'm gonna get to do a 1-for-1 swap, I'm not. I don't know why I think I figured it out yet, because I haven't. Just kind of eagle-eyed them where I want them, and then we'll just trace it out. This shouldn't be too hard to modify and make work. We're gonna try our best, because I do not want to rebuild that whole shroud. So my plan here is to just come about 1/4 inch this side, inside. On these, we'll stop there. We'll pick up down here. I gotta draw this 1/4 inch border all the way around. This line is the one we're gonna actually cut. And as far as these, I'm gonna just drop a straight edge like that. We'll connect the dots. We'll do the same thing over here. That'll leave us a little piece in the middle. Boom, baby. I think I have one body saw blade left. Let's hope she's good to us. Those are really cheapo body blades, so I expected it to break. So I didn't do any of the straightaways because they're easier to cut. I got this side done, this side done, this side done, and I couldn't quite get through this one before I broke it. But I think we can finish her off with the slicing dice. Let's minimize the razor sharp edges. Call me sleazy and easy. The rest of that setup is self-tappers, so I'm putting those in with self-tappers. Figured y'all were tired of wiring, so I didn't show none of that, but we're ready to go back together. That's the only shade you could find out here, huh? All this is going back together a lot easier. Our bottom ones where I couldn't get to, I moved them in just like 2 inches. Straight shot, baby. Let me turn that down so y'all can hear. I've been sitting in here revving this sucker up. I can't even get it to hit 210 now. It's staying about 205. Before it would have got to 210 and just kept climbing, like I said, 215 up to 220. I can't even hit 210. I knew those fiends weren't moving enough air. Well, that's a job well done on this one. We've been pulling a vacuum on this one for a good minute now. And when I was waiting on that to heat up, I seen the email, our tip switch is delivered. It's here. I can honestly say that's a new one. Our little temp sender here, we need to go into a 1/2 inch bushing. That didn't want to fit in there, so I took the carbide, grind her out a little bit till that could go through, and now we should be able to thread that in. All right. Up next, we're gonna pull a plug, make a mess. Got that all thread taped. I'm just going 1-for-1 swap. Don't tell me that's a 3/8. I thought they were all half. Yeah, it's half. She started already. Didn't lose too much. Oh yeah. When you're good, you're good. And when you're not good, your name Mortsky. That's about 2 hours, or if not a little more, of vacuuming. Got that vacuum down. I just crimped our eyelet on, tightened it on. Our cooling system is now complete. Like I said, we lost a little, but not much. Get her fired up, and I'm gonna start servicing on it. My information on this tells me 28 ounces. We got refrigerant going in. Go, baby, go. Get ready for the fans. Get ready. There they go. They kicked in. Like I said, that trinary switch said 254. See how when those kick on, it pulls the pressure back down? That's because we're pulling heat like we need to be. Fans are on. Yeah, baby. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your free on. Shake your free on. Perfect. Let's kill it. Pressures are looking good. This thing's operating good with those fans. Goodness, it is freezing in here. Well, they say there's nothing to it but to do it. Let's go put some test miles on this old girl. Something in the back almost sounds like clunk, clunk, clunk. All we did was pop our calipers off and put them back on. Try to go drive it, power brake it, see if that'd make the noise I was hearing go away, just thinking it was the rotors on the calipers. I got distracted and quit paying attention to it because we got up to about 210 and it crept past it a little bit. Like, what the hell? I come back here, let me put a timing light on it, even though I've triple checked this 1,000 times before. And I know y'all can't see, but that sucker's money. So as I walked to get the timing light and had the hood propped open, I heard the fan shut off, and I'm like, that's weird. Shouldn't be shutting off. Not till it gets back down to 190. But it was cycling from the trinary switch. And I do believe that's our problem. We're back down now to close to 190. However, I ran this aground from here down to there, a jumper, to keep those fans on constant. So that Be Cool thermostat switch I was bragging about is either not working or it's not grounding because of the thread tape. Luckily now the motor's about 200 degrees, so it's opportune time to grab on it. Y'all remember I told you that belt's loose but not squeaking? It was squeaking. I just didn't realize it. The way the noise is traveling, I thought it's been my Speedo randomly going squeak, squeak. It sounds like it comes from in there. I just revved it up and it did it, and I realized it's that belt. So I'm gonna tighten that belt eventually and fix our Speedo that squeaks. Well, yesterday after that very disappointing, what do you call that, test drive, I came back and I got to thinking about it, and I just ran a jumper wire down to our little sender to permanently turn our fans on, and I went and test drove it like that, and I could never get the wagon above 190 with those working. On the second test drive, I realized me stomping on the brakes a couple times must have worked because the flump I was hearing in the back was no longer there. Well, as you can see, Top Stitch Taylor's here this morning. And I just swapped us a new sender switch in here. The fans are cycling now. This thing should be good to go. Even drug old Pot County Thor in town with them. Theo tried to bite old Thor. Y'all ain't seen him in a while. Not Theo, Thor. Let's cruise. As y'all can see, it's beautiful cruising weather out. In fact, last night about 3 a.m., an area we're gonna drive through, a tornado went through there. Luckily for us, we're driving out of the stuff. We're headed towards the pretty skies. Had to turn the AC down, it'll freeze you out of here, guys. Let's get some miles on the road. We got about an hour drive. Y'all like my nice stereo setup, huh? I guess we need to put some type of music listening device in here. America. Apparently it's in the middle of nowhere. This has to be the most hillbilly cars and coffees ever. You gotta have a pothole jumper just to get here. Well, it looks like we made it to some tiny town. Looks like there's gonna be about 4 people here. Probably just D&H. Come to hang out with D&H today. I thought this was a cars and coffee, not a hangout with Dylan. Yeah. Blame it on the weather, not the population of 4 people in this town.
Yeah, I know.
It's the weather. Usually we have 6 people show up.
More like car and coffee.
Of course, y'all seen their shop truck. I ain't got to check this thing out since it's got back on the road. I seen he posted online, said this is its last outing before it gets a big block swap coming up. That'll be pretty sweet on this rig. Dang, got matching interior with Top Stitch Taylor over there. 2 buckets and that's it. Got a couple square bodies. Got a sweet wagon somebody brought out. And then y'all ain't really got to, hey, yours are on too, or your brake lights are.
Mine are?
Yeah.
My headlights are on too.
You want me to get yours?
You should have heard my smart ass comment. I said, I'll get your headlights, don't worry about it.
That's what I was gonna say, you want me to get yours, honey?
Mine were on too.
Told y'all they got matching interior. No, he's got back seat. Thor got him a Starbucks drink, I see. Dang, Peepaw, you drive like a Peepaw. You got your damn...
That's because I don't have any foam.
Yeah, right. Everything you own has one of those. And he has a saddle blanket in case he comes across a donkey or a pig in a gutter.
That's laying on your back because you drive a Ford.
I noticed you were having a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, right.
He just 5-speed swapped this thing. Got his Dakota digitals in. You know, it's kind of like the handyman. His house is always falling apart. The mechanic has the clunking car. The interior guy
Never has interior.
never has interior. Let's show them underneath the hood of this thing.
It was a basket case that I tried to save.
Fuel injected 302. Nice little driver, guys. This thing, she's sweet. Here we go, baby. Attendance is doubling with 3 cars showing up. That thing is tits. Oh, really?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
I appreciate you watching, man. Yeah. You pulled up and I was like, man, now he's got the second sweetest wagon here. This thing is awesome. You want to tell me something about it or tell the video?
58 Ford Ranch Wagon, 302 AOD.
Pinstriping on the dash.
It's all pinstriped inside.
Yeah, that thing is sweet. You can see the influence of what they had on the truck hoods and stuff going on with how they put it in the roof of this wagon too. The trucks of the time. Check this thing out, guys. It's the right color and it's got white steelies and caps, so I'm in.
Totally clean, but
no, it looks like a driver, which is perfect.
Drive it all over.
That's awesome, man. This right here's my favorite thing here, guys. She wins. She wins. Boy, someone just had to pull up in this thing and steal the thunder of that wagon over there. Way to pull up and steal the show. Yeah, right? You beat all other 9 people. Yeah, duck. Dung. Sound like the old Golden Corral commercial. This thing is sweet. Polished slots on the patina slammed down. Is that thing still straight axled? Good question. That thing is awesome. Y'all see that hood? How I was talking about you can see the influence of like it on the wagon, the roof of that wagon. Ford was kind of carried some similarities over there. Dylan just said for it raining, a lot of people showed up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even need more than 2 hands yet.
More than I thought was coming.
I got enough coffee in there like everybody was coming. I'm the only one drinking it.
I'm glad they did. I brought my own cup.
I told y'all he was a peepaw with his butt pad and a saddle blanket. And then he proves me right by pulling out his own rooster damn coffee cup out of nowhere.
It wasn't nowhere, it was behind my seat.
Damn lift kit.
Golly. That some bitch could hunt geese with a rake.
He's about to clunk that welcome to Stonewall sign. Careful! Well, I'll talk to that guy and see if he can reach up there and change that light bulb, because those ones are working and that one ain't. Get us fixed up. Span him! He looks like he likes doing burnouts. Oh, so does he. God dang, looks like I should have brought the LS swap to S-10. That dude started to curve off to the side after I said that. I thought he was about to whip a shitty for us. Just get after it. Are you the police officer here too, Mayor?
No. I'm about to let him in the police car.
You gave this town a police car? Can't even make that up.
No, hell no. Pull me over there.
Can I open it up? Yeah, let's check this thing out. Just nice and simple build, guys. What we got here? Floor mats are turned upside down. I knew there was something good underneath there. Flames. Nice little seat in it. Guys, I just love how simple their builds are on that wagon and on this. Just a cool look. They said they went through Sid's and did his drop shackles and hangers to lower it. So he comes with the shock relocation kit, looks like. Then up front, dropped axle. Maybe a couple springs removed. Hung out for a couple hours, met a few people, got to talk cars. That was a tiny event, but to me, guys, that was perfect. Got to meet actually a couple fans of the YouTube channel, so that was cool. Hand out some stickers and stuff, and get to have a little more personal time, I guess, of just getting to hang out and be a car guy. People don't think much of me. Put in a dime, and I'll take the time to say a country song. All right, guys, well, we are back, and that is a wrap. Thanks for watching. puddins.fab.shop. If y'all want to support me and my family directly, that's a great way to do it. Patreon, another great way to support us. You get these videos, little other behind-the-scenes things from time to time. And another great way to support us directly. We appreciate all the support there. And just being here watching the videos, also another great way to support me and my family. I cannot thank you guys enough. I'm on the Instagram, or on the Patreon, on the Facebook, or all that good stuff.
And much other than that, guys, I've got a ton of behind the scenes work to finish up, and it's already Saturday at noon. So I will see y'all in the next one. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your get your project. Get her done where you can cruise her out to the Cars and Coffee in Stonewall, America. Hell, maybe next time there'll be 12 people there. We'll get buck nasty.